the Holy One and the Divided One. This is from September 16, 2009. A great transition is upon us, with an old pattern collapsing and a new pattern emerging. Process of separation is underway, dividing the divided from the holy. The divided believe that there is another who is nothing like them, and name that other their enemy. The divided reserve their praise for a select few, blaming others. The divided respect persons as not just distinct, but as isolated, for the divided have isolated themselves as most special, most important, better compared to any that they presume to condemn. The divided condemn because they are divided within by their own guilt, so they're clearly identifiable as the ones seeking to justify themselves, lowering others to raise themselves in defense of their own opinions. They divert attention from their own way and compensate for their guilt by striving for both forgiveness and revenge. The divided argue in vain over the past, the present, and the future, contemplating with desperation like so. Do this, or do that, or do both, or do neither. I haven't read these words in 3 years since I wrote them, and I still do that on occasion. The divided struggle to discover what is the right thing and what is the wrong thing to do. They keep dividing from their division. They are struggling to discover the right thing and the wrong thing to do, for they do not only know. Whatever they may claim, if they keep struggling to discover, then they don't already know, or they're not already present to knowing. They even rely on books and words and interpretations, for again, they do not know the truth from within, from like written in their heart, which truth they may even admit is the source of the words and the books that they may worship, instead of the simple truth itself. They admit that the truth is the source of books and words and prayers and so on that they use, but what about the truth itself? Without any language, or with any language, either way. Now, that's the divided. The holy know that there is an end to the suffering of divisiveness. Let the divided stop dividing life into the part to protect and the part to protest. Rather, be still and know the end of suffering. Receive heaven, not later, but now. Let this be the first priority. Receive heaven, not later, but now. Let this be the first priority. That may sound familiar. Seek ye first the kingdom of happiness and heavenly spirit. This is a warning to those who have been blinded by the ambitions of their shame, which is to hide their shame, by preoccupation with how they may seem to others, totally normal, but an unfortunate experience, by beliefs which divide them from others and even divide one within oneself. Some have been divided between fear and thus hope to move beyond the fear, between worry and thus relief, but then only more agonizing again, and between a shifting mixture of self-glorification, because I'm right, and complaint, because someone else has to be wrong. Let the divided one stop any complaining. Complaining does not justify anyone, but promotes the suffering of the one complaining. If the Holy One has a request, it is made clearly and powerfully, directly to the one who can fulfill the request. We could call a request a complaint, but as long as there's a request in it, it's not what I just meant by complaint or by complaining. So such a request is made for the integrity of the act of making the request, letting the results come as they may. So let the divided one stop glorifying in past results. Enjoy results, but let the glory be all God's. Every result anyone has ever produced is not one's alone, but a temporary combination of causes and effects that are impossible to isolate from the entirety of all life throughout time. Like everything that I've learned from someone else, I actually have learned from someone else. And therefore, I carry forward lots and lots of other people's distinctions and developments and the resourcefulness of a whole bunch of other people who like build computers that I buy and stuff like that. Raise the grass-fed beef that I eat. The Holy One knows that it's impossible to isolate, any particular individual as the one responsible for any outcome. Like we are just waves within an ocean of aliveness and life and earthlings, lots and lots of connections. So the Holy One knows this and is secure in this knowing. The Holy bless even the divided. The Holy One blesses even the divided one. In the presence of someone's struggle for self-glorification, the Holy One may reassure, or interrupt, or question later, or none of these, as fits the situation, simply promoting only whatever result inspires the Holy One to act. The Holy One allows for fear, and for hope, and for all the other fluctuations of the divided mind to arise, and perhaps to suddenly to subside. Suddenly. Further, the Holy One may participate in a refining of fear into determination or courage or commitment, grief, whatever it may be, fear into whatever the next form of energy would arise after the fear. The Holy One may participate in a refining of hope into inspiration and action, rather than just kind of a optimism of hope. That is fine, and that hope can refine into inspiration. And in the coming shift, the one who would save oneself can keep nothing when their experience of darkness is total. The one who is willing to risk anything and everything is safe only at the eye of the storm. The divided will suffer increasing confusion, agony, grief, depression, and antagonism. And that's what's supposed to happen as part of their development. The Holy One already knows redemption and inspiration while living in heaven now, with a peace beyond the reasoning mind of the divided one, the one divided between us and them, past and future, and either this or that. The Holy One and the divided one.